Jake, you've written a piece in the print section of it for cleveland.com. If you get time, go and look at that, folks. It's really interesting. Take me through how you think they will use these guys together and how effective they can be.
It's a good question, and one that I was fascinated with myself. You know, Adam Henry, obviously heavily involved in the last 2 years of Odell and Jarvis's career at LSU as he arrived in 2012 season. He's actually the pass game coordinator for the 2012 season, which is heavily impacting the passing game. Those two took off in 2013 when Cam Cameron came in and took over the offense. I think that what's important for me was finding just sort of trends in data, trends in route patterns, and I think I saw a lot of that in terms of alignment. Cam Cameron ran a pretty heavy run game scheme. He ran a lot of downhill running attack, but when they did keep two receivers on the field with Beckham and Landry, they love to run wheel route stuff. What I call Mills pattern, which is the outside receivers on a post over top of an inside receiver running a dig, which is a 10-yard in. They love that stuff because they love to affect those two having eyes on them all the time and having to pick who they want to take. Crossing patterns from opposite sides, whether it's a true mesh at 5 yards or whether one's running a shallow and one's running a dig behind it. It's about, so much about passing game at any level, high school, college, NFL, is about putting players on the defensive side of the ball in conflict. And when you can put somebody in conflict, that's going to make them make a choice, clear things up for the quarterback. They did a great job of using those two specifically to put defenders in conflict, made it easier on quarterback. Zach Mettenberger actually got him drafted way before he should have been drafted. And, that's a good byproduct there. But I just found some trends, and they run a lot of trip sets. They would put Beckham and Landry in the middle of those trip sets. Probably more often than not, it was Landry inside at what we call the number 3 receiver close to the line of scrimmage, and then Beckham in the middle. And that isolates them on weaker defenders, gives those guys what's called a two-way go. They can go inside or outside. If you're outside the line, you can't always break inside. You're mostly relegated to breaking inside. There's not a ton of out route-based patterns, and the sideline helps defensive backs. So putting them inside in the slots there helped open things up for the passing game, gave those guys chances against weaker coverage players. And then when you think about how that translates to the Browns, you could put those guys on the outside, whether it's Higgins and Callaway, or if you want Callaway to run something deep, you could always isolate Njoku on the backside as a one receiver. He's done that before in his career with Cleveland, and he can be a deadly player there matched up on smaller corners if he gets a jump ball opportunity. So tons of options. I mean, anytime you get Odell Beckham, a guy who can do anything and everything, he's not relegated to being in one position on the field. He can play slot, he can play outside, he can go in motion, he can do anything. It helps your offense, and I think that's where they're sitting around in their white room talking about this is the best decision for us because this takes our offense from this level to a completely different unheralded level. So that's that's a good thing. And you're going back, you're studying 2013 tape. It's tough to get a ton of things that'll translate, but you do know that Freddie Kitchens is a very player-oriented coach. It was a big part of his success last year was getting input from those guys, getting input from his players as often as he could about what do you feel comfortable in. And good coaches do this. Tell me the things you're most comfortable with, what you like this week, and then pulling those things for the game plan. So I would imagine between Kitchens and Monken sitting down looking at what their offense will look like, they are going to pull in Adam Henry and say, what did you guys find success with at LSU? And let's talk about implementing some of those things as best we can. And a lot of those things are pretty universal football schemes. But nonetheless, you're going to have that input, and then they're going to pull in Odell and Jarvis and tell me how you two feed off each other best. And it's really just a match made in heaven between the three of them and then two really good offensive minds, and Browns fans should be plenty excited.